It's ComEx Tonight with special guest Leslie Jones, Reggie Watts, Bob Saget, featuring Stand Up in the Park, with your host, Candace Rosado.
Hello, everyone. My name is Candace Rosado, and I am your host for this year's ComEx Tonight.
Woo! Yeah!
I was supposed to host it last year before the pandemic and all that. So I've been waiting a minute to do this, and I don't want to make the wait sound dramatic, but my kid's applying to go here now. Yeah. Some background on me. I'm from Southern California, which sounds really cool, but unless your two favorite things are cows and meth, this might not be your cup of tea. My mother is Mexican. My father is Puerto Rican and Italian. So for all you Boston people, no, that does not mean that I was born in a Pizza Hut Taco Bell combo. No. To mark the occasion, let's take a moment to memorialize some of what made the last year so special. Emerson had a lot of policies in place to keep us safe, from COVID, but also from having to go to any Film Bro watch parties. Sorry, Duncan. I would go watch the 21-hour director's cut of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again with you, but no. I just don't want to hear you comment, it's nothing, but it means like everything. And then we had Zoom classes. Yeah. We loved that so much. My favorite thing personally is when professors think that screen sharing is when they just hold up their phone screen to the camera and just show you that, like just kind of hello, just crazy. It's like, sorry, Teach, but I can see you got nudged on Scrabble. You got crops dying on Farmville. I didn't know people still played that. And Janine, you got a text from Janine. She just wants to be friends. Yeah, you should probably take the phone down and address that. Please, we don't need to see that. It's not our business. Students also came up with all sorts of new ways to skip class, like putting up a picture of themselves sitting at their desk to pretend they're paying attention. Fun fact, I actually started this before the pandemic in person. I don't know why it didn't catch on. It definitely should have. It was a great idea, but guess that is what it is. And let's give a shout out to every professor who had to spend a semester teaching to a blank screen because nobody wanted to turn their cameras on. Yeah. Trust me, Teach. I was listening, but also I was busy. Sorry. Remember when Elon Musk convinced us all to just move to Mars? I remember that. Yeah. Well, his Neuralink company released a video of a monkey playing Pong with just its mind. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not impressive because I play Pong in my mind all the time. Remember when I said I was too busy to turn my Zoom camera on in class? That's why. I was playing Pong in my mind, and I get very into it. But it's tough feeling tired and groggy nowadays because, you don't know if it's because you got the second dose of the vaccine or if it's because you're a pro athlete that just got knocked out by Jake Paul. We've gone from float like a butterfly, sting like a bee to it's every day, bro. That Disney Channel flow. I got my second dose, my second COVID shot dose of what, who knows, on Cinco de Mayo, which was actually pretty nice. When they gave it to me, they asked if I wanted salt around the rim. I kindly declined, but I did ask for an extra lime. And finally, it seems like each step forward comes with a challenge. Like we get a new president, then boom, his dog bites everyone. Still, I thought they went a little far with the next place that they sent him. We got a great show for you guys tonight. We got Leslie Jones.
Yeah.
We've got Reggie Watts.
Yeah.
And we've got Bob Saget. Ooh, it's a sick lineup. Where's my hair? Sick lineup. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsor.
Does this sound like you? You try to go to bed, can't get comfy, roll around, wake back up, get a glass of water, stare at the wall, flip the pillow over, but you're still not comfy? So you get out of bed, pace the halls of your home, get a second glass of water, not satisfied. Get a glass of milk instead. Put it in the microwave. Warm milk. Drink the milk in bed. Spill the milk. Get paper towels to clean the milk. The milk is clean, but you still can't sleep? Now you need to go to the bathroom because you drank too much liquid. You're dumb. Now you go back to bed, but your mind is racing. Why'd you tell that woman in the grocery store you ran track in high school? You hate track. You've never liked track. But when she said you look like a fast runner, you froze and said, yeah, you can't run away from me, but not in a creepy way or sexually or anything. I just run fast. And then when she walked away, you ran after her and said, ha, told you. God, you're stupid. This mattress, you think. I can't sleep. Get out of bed again. You could pull an all-nighter. Go outside. Climb to your roof. Scream at the stars. Why was I born? I didn't ask for this. How do the hungry hippos get nutrients from plastic balls? Is that why they're always hungry? Too many deep questions. Why can't I sleep like a normal person? The roof is too much. Go down to the street. F it. We're walking now. I should have worn shoes. It's too late now. You're half a mile down the road anyway. Oh, I wish I were a dog. Life would be so much easier. Or what about an ant? Ants don't have to worry about sleeping on an uncomfortable mattress. Do ants sleep? Do they? Oh, what if ants were the size of rats? That would suck. Get back home. Climb in bed. Finally fall asleep, but wake up with a sore back?
Sound familiar? Well, it's time to buy a new mattress today at Flips Furniture. When life gets bumpy, your mattress shouldn't be.
Our first guest was a tour de force on SNL, stole the show in Coming to America too, and now, when you hear that beep, it's the host of Supermarket Sweep, Leslie Jones. Woo! My name's Candace.
Hey, how you doing, Candace?
I'm doing great. It's very nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Emerson actually has a comedy major. And the reason I'm pursuing comedy is because I realized that I might as well capitalize on all the bad things that have happened in my life, turn all the bad things into good. So I guess what made you turn to comedy?
People in school was always telling me I was funny. My friend signed me up for the contest, and it was just from that time I touched the mic, I knew I was going to be a comedian. So It was just, I don't know if it was something that I turned to. It was just something that she signed me up without asking. She told me, I was always going to parties and stuff and making people laugh. And I was just always that type of person. And she signed me up for this contest and then told me about it. And I was like, oh, okay. So, and I did it.
So, I mean, you've done Coming to America, which is fantastic. You did Ghostbusters, you did Saturday Night Live. How did you step into these like legendary franchises and make them your own?
That's a good question. I think if you already know yourself, when you step into this business, it's not hard to make things your own, because as a comedian, you have to do that. You have to make your jokes your own so people don't steal them, for one. And two, you have to develop what your point of view is. In other words, if I hadn't done years and years of comedy, I don't know if I would have been able to step into Saturday Night Live and be able to form my own thing like I did. I think I probably would have been just like a regular cast member. I don't think I would have popped out if I didn't know who I was before I went there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not an easy thing to stick to that, because you have to, along the way, adjust that also. You have to adjust it to new stuff to be able to continue. So you're ever changing. So it's a hard little balance, and I always tell people, I was like, it's not as easy as you think. You can go one way or the other way, but you have to choose.
Yeah, absolutely. So comedy has been thought of primarily as a career it's for white dudes. It's just a bunch of white dudes. So how difficult was it for you, just as a woman of color, to break in and like make a name for yourself?
Well, first of all, you have to change your thinking. So that's thinking that just comedy is for just white dudes. Don't go in there with that attitude, because that's not what you go in there with. You go in there with, this is for everybody, because it is. So
absolutely.
if you already going in there with that shield of this is just for white dudes, you're gonna head down the trail that you don't. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
no,
when
for
you
sure.
first start in comedy, you need to be just like a horse with blinders on.
Yeah.
You don't need to see nothing but the stage and the mic and the people and the jokes. Everything else is bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you pay attention to it, you'll get the wrong attitude. So first, comedy isn't just for white dudes. I know that might be what you see, but you put it in your mind that it's for everyone, because that's not what I see. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
no,
know,
for sure.
and then when you have that attitude, you go in there and you conquer whatever it is that stereotype is. Do you get what I mean? Like, just change that thinking. Change that thinking. It's not just for white dudes. You know, it's for everybody, especially for a person like you that got real material. So get that thinking out your head first.
It's already gone. You said that it's gone. I can't even find it. Where'd it go?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You go in there thinking that this is for me too, because it is. There's a group of people you perform for also.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the trick I always tell people is, you're a comedian if, you don't just make your friends laugh. You make your friends laugh, and you make your friends' moms laugh. Like, people tell me like, oh yeah, I'm really funny. I was like, oh, okay, but probably in your living room. But can you come into a room of strangers and have them bawling? And if you can, hey, that's something that you need to pay attention to. Now, when people there's always people that are, I want to be a comedian. And the first thing I ask them is, have you been on stage?
Yeah.
And
it's a whole different ball game. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, if you want to be a comedian, I mean, like, if you wanted to be a doctor, then you would check into med school. Do you get what I'm saying? You start physically doing, but with comedy, it's just get on the stage. If you want to be a comedian, get on stage, then find somewhere and get up on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I can make my grandma laugh, but that don't mean I'm gonna make the neighbor laugh.
Exactly. And that's real talk, though. But that's real talk, and everybody is funny. Everybody does have a sense of humor. But this is what separates the professional from, the amateur.
How do you think social media has created opportunities for comedy? Like, you do the live tweeting and stuff like that. How do you think that's opened up more doors in comedy for everyone?
Well, I tell everybody during the COVID, I was like, if you didn't get your hustle on during the COVID, then you really wasn't a hustler, because there is so many ways now, like you said, with social media, that you can do so many things. I always give it up to the people who do well on Instagram and Twitter, when you can see people doing sketches and stuff like that. That's like, you can't shit on people who like really take the time to try to entertain people. And to me, social media has opened up a new way, instead of people having to go out and try to get up on stages or try to get into a certain thing. They can do it at their house and have their own people and have their own audience, which, I mean, I think it kind of helps the business out sometimes, as far as as long as everybody stay in their lane. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Because nobody does that.
Right. It's like, if you really good on Instagram and you went out and you try stand up, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying that make sure you can do it. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people not to try to do so many things, just try to really be good at one, and the other stuff comes, the other stuff comes when you develop this one good thing, it springs off limbs of other stuff. Like, when I became a really good stand-up, I was able to go in and do the sketch stuff and do other stuff, and it opened up other doors. But you have to have a strong foundation in one thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings it back to what you said earlier. Like, you have to just focus on yourself and know what you are and what you got going on, and just remind yourself of that as you keep going, because then that can take you anywhere.
Exactly. I always tell people that, and it's something you have to learn, because it's not easy in this business. I mean, walk into the clubs and yes, that's all you see is white males, but you have to realize that you're in that room too. So it's not just white males. It's you're in that room too, So, start looking at that instead of looking at, because all that stuff is changing. All that stuff is changing. All of it is. So,
Yeah. So you're the host of Supermarket Sweep, which is one of my favorite shows. My parents were on the show. They didn't win.
Yeah, that's what they was telling me.
You're the host of Supermarket Sweep, which is one of my favorite shows. My parents were on the show. They didn't win.
Yeah, that's what they was telling me.
Yeah. So, okay. So you're on the Supermarket Sweep, okay? You're shopping. You got stuff in the cart. You're like, oh, wait, I got to get this one thing. This one thing is that piece of advice that you would give yourself for starting out in comedy. What would that be?
Ooh.
It's interesting, isn't it?
That's a good question, too. I think the advice I would give myself is to keep going. It's truly the only advice when you first starting out is keep going. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep writing. Keep going up. It's just the only, because then when you first starting, it's very hard, like to I always tell comics, when you start in comedy, you're like an infant. So your first year, you're a toddler. You're doing fart jokes, you're doing shit jokes, you're doing nasty jokes. That's because you're a baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then you don't start really doing real jokes until maybe 3 or 4 years in, when you maybe have written something that you can do. You know what I'm saying? So in those years, you have to continue to tell yourself, don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. This is hard, but keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I mean, that's the only thing. It's literally the only like advice that you need at that time is keep going, keep writing, keep going, keep going, keep going up. Because I tell comics, I mean, you really are not going to be funny until 10 years.
That makes sense, though. Yeah.
The day I got told that, I cried like a baby because I had already been doing it like 6 years. So I was like, yo, I'm funny. I know I'm funny. And I remember talking to a veteran and I was like, so when do you actually like, really know? And it was like 10 years. I was like, what? No, I know.
Like, how about 10 hours? Like, what?
Yeah. But it's actually true because at 10 years is when I really started doing real material about myself and separate myself from the bunch. So it's kind of true.
That's awesome. Well, Leslie, I want to thank you so much for coming here today, answering some questions. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Keep your head up, keep writing, be true to yourself. When you get on stage, there is a feeling that you have. Don't harness that feeling, give that feeling out, because that's the feeling that's going to help you be successful. And every true comic that's really good do have that feeling. A lot of us keep it inside because they don't know what it is, but that is a feeling that is supposed to be given out. So when you're on stage and you have that feel, that free feeling, that's a real feeling. So go with that, ride that wave. That's where you're supposed to be at. That's where people want to see you at.
This year, a few Comedic Arts students brought a mic, a portable speaker, and their comedy to the Boston Comet. Here's Stand Up in the Park.
All right. So this is Stand Up in the Park. That's right, yes.
Stand Up in the Park was something that a group of friends of mine and I, we got here and we're like, we want to do comedy so badly, but all the clubs are closed right now. How can we go out and do it? Boston Commons are right here. Why not just try out material right there? So we've been doing that ever since the beginning of this year.
We know COVID's been bad. And so we're making some changes, we're making some changes. So, you know how you had spring break? We're going to give you something better. We're going to give you some Wednesdays off. Excuse me? Wednesday? Having a Wednesday off is like having an Oreo without the cream.
There's a big problem with the U.S. post office system. Why is it called mail? Like, I don't know, that's really sexist. Like, why not the mailman? Like, the mail woman?
You see, I went to a Tony Bennett concert recently, and I think I was the youngest one there by about 150 years.
Yo, it is it's an interesting time to be an Asian. You guys remember when Crazy Rich Asians came out with the movie? I was like, yo, we are killing it, dude. We got a fucking Oscar. And then Parasite came out. I was like, yo, we are killing it. And then another Parasite came out. We are killing it.
Sasha, why do you look me up online? That's so weird. And I'm like, oh, why did your mom donate $2,700 to Chris Christie's presidential campaign in September of 2015? That seems like a you problem. I don't know.
Everyone's lonely now, you know? It's a pandemic. It's crazy, you know? Because of the pandemic, nobody's wanted to hang out with me in 18 years. But I'm okay. Everyone's like, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, I'm somewhere in between. It's called being an ambivert, which basically means that I like hanging out with people and they don't like that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. As many of you know, our friend Robert Colby passed away last month. He worked at Emerson for 44 years and was a professor and chair of the Performing Arts Department. Bob was a tremendous teacher, artist, and human being. Many don't know how much support he gave Comedic Arts. If you were in the program, you have been shaped by Bob Colby. If you've taken improvisation or sketch with Holly Tarnower or Aaron Schwall, you have been taught by Bob Colby. If you've taken physical comedy with Nadia Justiniano, that was supported by Bob Colby. If you have been in an Emerson stage show, that was made possible by Bob Colby. Bob was an improviser at heart. Comedy was important to him. He believed that comedy was transformative and that it had the power to change minds. So, let's follow Bob Colby's example and use comedy to make radical change in this world. That is how we use the full potential of comedy, and that is how we honor Bob Colby's legacy. As comedy plays a powerful role in advancing social change, the Center for Comedic Arts at Emerson College created the Reddy Witt Award in Comedy to honor a person who uses comedy to break new ground, drive the conversation, and challenge the status quo. In October, the first Reddy Witt Award was presented to Raphael Bob Waxberg, the creator of BoJack Horseman. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the ceremony.
I love BoJack Horseman because it's showed me that you can write weird, crazy, quirky, witty comedy and infuse it with real life stories and real problems.
It takes very serious topics about mental health and mental illness, stuff that's usually taboo, and brings it into the mainstream by making it comedic.
Straight up entertainment. It's like entertaining continuously throughout the series, as well as being really up to date on its social commentary.
And it is so deserving of this award because it's hilarious, but it also really makes you think.
For all these reasons, we, the Emerson student body, feel that Mr. Bob Waxberg and his series BoJack Horseman best represent the Reddy Witt Award in comedy. It's courageous, thought-provoking, and encourages us to care about one another.
Oh my goodness. Wow, look at that. I think comedy's quieter but more successful path towards social change has been not in the ways it's taken down the powerful, but in the gradual ways it's lifted up and legitimized the disenfranchised. I meet people all the time who tell me that my writing has made a difference in their lives, that it's given them the language to articulate feelings they always felt but never understood, the tools to communicate who they are to their friends and family, the strength to get through another day, or the courage to ask for help. It doesn't fix everything, but it has, in ways small and significant, helped individual people. And I do think that's worth something. What you're doing matters in life and in comedy. At our best, we can make comedy that seeks to understand and reveal. Thank you to the students and faculty of the Center for Comedic Arts at Emerson College for inviting me here today. Thank you for this award that I can keep in my home as a reminder of my responsibility. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to lecture all of you. I'm sure you thought my speech would be funnier, but I already have your award and I'm not giving it back.
Our next guest inspired me to beatbox in my 8th grade talent show. You've seen him on The Late Late Show with James Corden, and you've heard him on Comedy Bang Bang, and, well, he's the reason I do stand-up. Reggie Watts. Thank you so much for doing this. like 10-year-old me is like losing her mind right now. Like I'm so excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, you're originally from Montana. What's the comedy scene like there? Like, is there a comedy scene? Is it
Comedy scene, Montana. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess there's a comedy scene. There was a little bit of one when I was growing up, but I wasn't. I mean, I did a little bit of comedy, in the 80s in Montana, but that was like, very short lived. But I know it exists, so I don't really know the current state of it now. But I know it exists. There's always someone trying to make someone laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, growing up, like, who inspired you the most? Like, were they in Montana, or just someone big that inspired you or influenced you?
No, it was just watching TV. Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and all the heyday of stand-up comedy was in the 80s. So, everybody that got up on stage that I got to see on HBO comedy specials and sitcoms and the Muppets, all that stuff like that, all had everything to do with me wanting to try something. But I don't know. I mean, I have a feeling that even if I didn't have those things, I probably still would have figured out something.
Yeah,
it's just because I like it.
Do you have a favorite Muppet? That's an important question.
Oh, I know. It is an important question. A favorite Muppet? Not really. I like all of them. I mean, I like Dr. Teeth. He's a cool dude. But I like all of them collectively because they're all such a gang.
Yeah. Such a group.
Yes.
So, Great Falls, your hometown. After doing some reading, we found that it's nearly 90% white people and like
Yes.
5% Native American. So, did you find it like inclusive, or were there times where you felt isolated in this white Montana?
Yeah, white Montana.
White.
Welcome to white Montana. What are you looking for? Caucasians galore. I mean, I don't know. I there was definitely, people knew that I was different and, at least different looking. But, it's an Air Force town. So there were a lot of GIs that married, abroad, and, there were a lot of like kids that were half and half, not a ton, but, enough, that people grew up with them, went to elementary school, and weren't really any problems. So I didn't really, I mean, there was a little bit of racism for sure, but nothing that I remembered as a traumatic experience or anything like that. I generally got along with everybody. Everybody got along with me, and we were all friends, and we'd laugh and, at the same stuff and do stupid things. And it was pretty fine, actually. I didn't, and also you can use it to your advantage too, because you're easily rememberable.
Yeah. Amongst all the whites.
Yeah, so all the whites, yes, white. But the good thing is I learned how to speak fluent Caucasian, so I know the Caucasian language very well.
Tough. It's very tough. So it's a feat. Yeah.
I know the tropes. It's like when you're done cracking your eggs, you put them back in the carton. Like all that stuff. It's like I know all of that.
You have to save that cardboard like it's the holy grail of cardboard.
Oh yeah, you got to. You really got to. But no, it was cool. I mean, I liked it. I'm glad that I did get to grow up as a different weird person in Montana, because at the end of the day, Montana is a weird place. Everybody I know is a bunch of weirdos. So, I mean, we all are technically, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So, as far as like you're performing, like you've described it as like disinformationist. How, for people who don't know that, how would you explain that?
Well, I mean, disinformation, I guess in its purest sense, disinformation is something obviously employed in wartime, maybe World War I, World War II is when it was most employed, but it's probably existed, all through strategized warfare and things like that, conflict. But, it's just mixing a little bit of truth and fiction together. So it creates uncertainty in people, and doubt and all of that stuff. And that's what, causes disunity. But for me, I like using it in a benevolent way because it puts people in an uncertain state, and therefore they're ready for anything. And so during a performance, if that's the state that I hope to create for people, so that we can stop guessing about what's coming next, and oh, I know that this is happening, and I know this is happening. It's when you don't know what's going to happen, it's more fun. At least it's more fun for me. So that's how I would describe it, how I use it.
Yeah, for sure. So like going off of that, like just your improv, doing the unexpected. Do you have an improv background, or was it just something that you just naturally gravitated towards, or?
I just I can't really remember things very well. So for me, it was that was the best I could do, is to just mess around and do things that come to my mind. And because I took classical piano up until about age 16, but around age 12, 13, I became interested in writing my own music, and I wasn't really learning the songs that were assigned, and I would kind of change them, midway through the song. My attention span started getting smaller, I guess, for structured memorization and stuff like that. So I just kind of naturally went there.
That's awesome. So you also you've done comedy in like virtual reality. Now, what is that like? Like, are the possibilities just endless? Is it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, it's not really that. It's actually, there's a lot of limitation. The limitation of how you're represented in the world, how you control your avatar in the world. Obviously fidelity issues, is audio working correctly, things of that nature. But when it's all running smooth, my smoothest experiences were definitely in alt space, and especially the early alt space gigs. They were just really nice because they were, I had a perception neuron tracking suit on, so I could puppet my avatar, which was really sweet, and walk around stage and have this puppeted avatar was just so cool, and having an audience there, and it was really fun. So there are a lot of limitations, but I use those limitations for comedic effect, just because it's just stupid to be in this world. Everything looks so dumb, and then it's so rickety, and it's just funny.
Going back into tech, I've heard that you're really interested in it. You really enjoy it. And you've also created an app, which is
yes,
so cool. Yeah. So how do you think that current day social media affects comedy content today? Like, you said it's good to have a platform and to network and have a good idea, but how do you think it's changing comedy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely gives more of a platform to more people that may not have had a chance necessarily not so long ago. And people are figuring out ways to be humorous on these various, networks.
Yeah.
I don't know. At the end of the day, well, there are different forms of comedy. Obviously, people can be funny on YouTube and funny on, whatever video platform, or, put out funny videos on Instagram. So they're funny in that medium, but they wouldn't necessarily be funny perhaps on stage, which is a totally different skill set. So, but my favorite are comedians they figured out how to be funny on social media, and they're funny on stage, and they're funny on short videos, and whatever. So diversifying is really great. So I don't know, it gives more options for people to explore, being entertaining, and that's great. So the only change is that there's just more avenues.
Yeah, and it's also a thing too, because you can find out that you think something's funny that you didn't think was going to be funny if you went to go buy a ticket to go see, which I've realized. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
So sick. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, you get to sample.
a little sample of jokes.
Yeah, a little sample platter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love an hors d'oeuvre.
Horse d'oeuvres.
I love a horse d'oeuvres of jokes.
Yeah. It's great.
So good. I love having horse d'oeuvres with my white friends.
Mm-hmm. They're quite appreciative.
So like I mentioned before, like you do a lot of improv, you freestyle stuff. So I guess set the scene, pretend you run into young Reggie Watts, uh, just starting out. Would you freestyle some advice? Maybe you freestyle like a sound that you'd be like, you know what, you need this.
I'd just say, there's nothing really I did that I would change. All my experiences were really super important to me being who I am now. So I wouldn't really have any other advice other than just like keep having fun and be good to people.
That's so awesome. That's yeah, that's sick. Well, thank you so much. That's all we got for you. I want to thank you so much for coming in for the interview. Thank you so much. Hopefully we can have Wars Divorce one day. That'd be sick.
Of course. You never know in this crazy, weird reality.
A virtual one, actually.
Yeah, perhaps.
It's pot. All right. Thank you so much, Reggie.
Yeah, my pleasure. Have fun.
Yeah, thank you.
And now, a call to action.
When I came to Boston from California, I started looking for comedy show flyers. But the first one I found was for Cinco de Drinko. I'm sure some of you laughed at Cinco de Drinko. That's the problem. I was hoping to find some open mics, but instead I found some closed-minded mics. And Sean's, and Chad's. It just sucked feeling ostracized in a city where I was trying to build my career. So, to make sure I wasn't the only one who felt this way, I wanted to talk to someone who was completely different from Candace Rosado. So I talked to Nina Rodriguez. Nina is an Emerson alum who co-founded Flawed, a comedy collective for women and non-binary students in the BIPOC community. I asked her about her experience.
My behavior is not such that is palatable to white folks all the time. I went into the rooms making the kinds of jokes that I would make, that I do make, and clearly I didn't gel. I'm not a white woman who loves rocks. There was just this sort of like dissonance.
From there, Nina moved to the, believe it or not, friendlier New York City. And you know who else left? Tommy Rico. And he went all the way to Los Angeles. Tommy Rico is a stand-up comic who's opened for the likes of George Lopez and Robert Klein. I talked to the Boston native about his start here in Boston, right down the street from Emerson.
I had to make sure there were no pregnant pauses where like a racist could jump in and yell something. I made sure the act was so like crisp that I rarely got heckled. But when I did, it was always ugly.
But I'm sure he got some great advice from his fellow comics, right?
I definitely heard the term, you need to up.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that makes me want to stay in Boston. After hearing that, I was ready to throw bows. So I figured, why not talk to a white guy? See what the problem is. So I found Rick Jenkins, the owner of the comedy studio in Somerville.
Well, the comedy boom had sort of started bottoming out, so a lot of those rooms weren't around. And yeah, a lot of the vibe was started by Irish and Italian men.
Wait, does this guy in a Johnny Carson suit get it?
I just find comedy interesting, whether it's diversity through orientation or race or gender. I just like different points of view.
So where does a chubby Mexican girl like me go to give her point of view?
Well, first you can find a better room by coming to mine. You go to different rooms, you network, you ask what else is around. There's a whole Black community of urban shows in Boston that people from my side of the river don't even know about. There are a lot of different places. Unfortunately, it's kind of up to you to seek them out.
Not the best news in the world, but he was honest. And does a lot of this sound like some straight basura? Absolutely. But there's something we can do about it. Like 1, don't be afraid to make space where there isn't any, like Nina did by starting Flawed.
And I was like, does anyone want to do like a little comedy project with me? That's kind of how I posed it.
2, go out into the community and make yourself known.
Just do it. Just find the names, find the players, email them.
3, get educated, ask questions.
You have to think about whether you want to appeal to the white people in the basement in Allston, or if you just want to speak your truth and hope that an audience comes to you.
And number 4, invest in the kind of community you want to create. Go see these shows, support these orgs like Flawed and Amigos, and even the newest one, the I Love Candace Club. Change is possible, and it's up to everyone watching this right now to make that actually happen. Come see us perform, laugh with us, and no, you don't have to tell us we're brave. We're aware. Reassure the Latinx community that our voices are not only heard, but listened to. Because I'm not gonna lie, right now, it's a real pinche pissa, my guy. Last month, ComEx presented the 17th annual Jess Elias Clavelli Award competition. It was filled with hilarious stand-up, sketches, character pieces, and songs. 7 amazing finalists vied for $2,000 in prizes and the coveted Jess Award. And now, a glimpse of that wonderful night.
Tonight, we have 7 amazing finalists performing this evening.
And then another thing I get too is because my name is Faith, so they'll hear that and they'll be like, oh, are your sisters Hope and Charity? No. It's Grace and Eternity, asshole.
Now, it's no secret that us here at Chick-fil-A, we here at Chick-fil-A hate gay people.
Wait, what?
We hate. We hate gay people.
Oh, fuck.
As a straight white man, it's important everyone hear my story. You don't know how hard it is to be ugly and horny. Most people think I'm arrogant and a creep. But I do impact, and I think that makes me deep.
Mr. Simon, bring me a drink. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him tulips like roses and clover.
As a whole, the mental health of everybody in the country has suffered. Yet we all have one thing in common. We all try not to giggle at the mention of the word valedictorian. I'd like to think there's a perfect version of Earth somewhere way out there in the multiverse. An Earth where mass shootings in America don't occur back to back during a global pandemic. An Earth where I don't have OCD, or as my sex therapist calls it, obsessive compulsive disorder.
My name is Aileen. Some people call me Aileen. Some people call me Eileen. Some people call me Alien. That's a bit fun. I never correct them though. I have low self-esteem. Here. Shall we sit? I didn't fart, that was the chair.
That all of my friends let me date a white rapper for months. I didn't say anything. I'm not looking for a new fiance. I'm looking for people to hold me accountable. I had a really bad year. I broke my hand this year. I got a boxer's fracture on these 2 knuckles, but you should see the other guy. Still adore.
Thank you so much for watching tonight. It has been such an honor to be your host. Good night, everyone.
Symptom tracker broke?
Clearly.
Well, we have the person solution.
Person?
Due to recent app crashes, Emerson IT has decided to send the symptom tracker straight to your door. Hi there. Do you have a fever?
No.
Any chills or sweats?
No.
Diarrhea?
No.
Really?
Really?
The symptom checker works just like normal. Pending. We take your symptoms and gather the information to see if you are safe to attend class.
This is kind of freaky.
It's the new normal. You are cleared to go to class.
Thanks. Wait, is this an invitation for your one-man Zoom prov show? Get out.
Emerson IT. They're doing everything they can.
You might know our next guest from his stand-up, from America's Funniest Home Videos, or from Full or Fuller House. Joining us from his own house, the legendary Bob Saget.
Right.
Boom. We're here.
We're here. It's you and me, Candace.
You're in my virtual box, my MacBook box.
We are zooming. We are zooming in cubes.
I feel like a cube on a daily basis. So yes,
I
thank
do
you so
too.
much. Yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for asking me. I have
So the role of Danny Tanner is iconic. What's that like for you?
been in family shows I don't take lightly. And I loved and love being thought of as the dad on Full House. And, if people look at the stand up and go, wait a minute, he's not, but that's meant for 18 and up and after 11 at night if you're on television. But that's not how TV works anymore. They can put anything anywhere. But I love that role.
So you got 3 daughters on the show. You got 3 daughters in real life. You might have 3 daughters somewhere else. Who knows? But how do you think you stack up against Danny Tanner?
The only reason I think I'm a good dad is because of how my own daughters have turned out. They're at 34, 31, and 28, and they're all artists, and they're all amazing people.
Is Bob Saget anything like Danny Tanner?
Well, it's interesting. I have become more like Danny Tanner now because of the pandemic than I ever have been in my whole life. It is so strange. I have a dust cloth. It is microfiber. It's to clean the lens. I clean the lens of the computer. People with film cameras or glasses, these are non-reflective. You have to be very careful. I've become Danny, telling you, I am meticulous like Danny Tanner.
Your stand-up in the early 2000s was known for being pretty not PG. What's it like now?
I have more responsibility now than I ever had. And so I'm not the guy from 2007 HBO special, That Ain't Right, where I was playing in front of NYU. It was a different world. It was 2007. And I was just letting loose. And people went, oh, he's doing it for shock. No, I'm not. I think it was nervousness that I would drop F-bombs. That was nervousness. That was kind of like a rim shot. But I just wanted to be funny. And my role models were Richard Pryor and Robin Williams and people that I looked up to that I hung out with as a beginning comic. So I was from the goats taught me. I don't mean stars. I just mean actual animals. I lived in a petting zoo for the first 4 years of my life.
We keep hearing so many people talk about what's changed in comedy today. So I going against that, what do you think has stayed the same and why?
Well, I think what really makes people laugh, what's genuinely funny, a lot of times it's self-deprecating humor. It's your safest. And the comedy that I did when I was 17 years old in Philadelphia was making fun of myself because I had no friends, had a lot of death in my family. And so my way of running from the death, as I was in my 20s, I'd already lost 2 sisters. And my parents lost 4 kids altogether. And so they go, what makes a comedian? Why are you so strange? Why is your ego so big and yet you're so insecure? I went, well, my ego's big because I'm so insecure. All those things where you do self-reflection, and I've had a lot of therapy to figure it out. I think that the kind of humor that people really enjoy is stuff that doesn't do religion or politics right now.
People also love you from America's Funniest Home Videos, created by Emerson's own Vin DeBona. And, how does it feel to be the original YouTube commenter? Like, do you ever do that now when you watch something funny? Like, oh, let me do this voice or let me do this. Like,
yeah, I don't do it as much because I've done it so much. But years ago in my early 20s, I would be a comedian at the Comedy Store. I would hang out over somebody's house. We would all sit around. We would turn the sound off and we would, party, I guess you would call it. And I would just dub the voices. Mel Blanc was Bugs Bunny, Tweety Bird, Tasmanian Devils, Yosemite Sam, Daffy Duck. I mean, it's unbelievable the variance that his voices took. And so I would do bad versions of him. And I would voice over the clips. They would send me the clips and I'd work on them with 2 writers. And I would, Todd Thick and Bob Arnott, and we would sit in a room for 8 years at my house or at the set of Full House. And I would just go, oh, look at me. I'm so beautiful. And then I'd do Jerry Lewis as he got hit in the crotch.
So, you started that podcast early in quarantine. It's helped a lot of people out.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Has it been as therapeutic for you as it's been for us?
That's really kind. I actually think it's been more fulfilling for me than for anyone. The fact that people are touched and then I get positive feedback is a real blessing. And I deeply appreciate it. The truth is, I really believe that we're on an upward slope. And I did the podcast to try to help people. It's called Bob Saget's Here For You. My name had to be in the title, but it meant that I was going to help them through this. I guess it's the empathy and the feeling when you're talking to people in a podcast medium that I love, is it's the most like an intimate conversation with your best friend. I try to talk to those people like they're my friends, because they are. Because do they borrow money from me? But I don't borrow money from friends. You know, I try to leave that out of it unless they're really hurting. If it's my kids, you're set. But I mean, or if I find out you're my daughter, Candace, you know, I'll send the check.
I got a credit union. I could give you that info if you need it.
I could get you a great piece of art for one of my artist daughters, and give you tranquility just to look at it.
People say laughter is the best medicine, but research has shown that money helps too. You've raised over $50 million for scleroderma research. Tell me about your work with that.
I've been on the board of directors for the Scleroderma Research Foundation for a decade or more, but I started doing the benefit before my sister died from the disease, scleroderma, which means hardening of the skin. And we fund major research centers, and Robin Williams was the first person to ever do the benefit. And we do these benefits called Cool Comedy Hot Cuisine. And we did the last one virtual, and we raised $1.1 million with many friends and comedians, Ken Jeong, and of course, John Stamos and Ray Romano. And it was just beautiful.
That's awesome. Absolutely. Yeah. So are you up for a little game? This game is going to be called Advice for Candace. Okay. It's, you know, Danny Tanner always has words of wisdom for his daughter, DJ, who's played by Candace Cameron Bure. And my father, James Rosado, also has a lot of words of wisdom for his daughter, me, Candace Rosado. So I'm going to give you a few quotes from Danny and from James, and see if you can tell me if the quote is from Danny Tanner or if it's from James Rosado.
My disclaimer up front is I don't remember what happened 2 hours ago.
Okay. First one. Am I the raddest, baddest dad a kid ever had?
This is a tough one because that could be your father saying that. I would say Danny Tanner said that.
Bingo. That was right.
Yeah, because you would not normally say stuff like that, but they wanted me to get a laugh.
Yeah.
Right. It's like that's in the vein of I'm a lean, clean, hugging machine.
And then we have your dad's cool. He knows what's up.
That'd be your dad.
It is. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, Danny wouldn't have said something that confident.
Then we have, you should take a drive through a car wash without your car.
Sounds like a sitcom joke. It would mean that somebody had to be dirty, and it would have had to been Stamos or Dave would have been covered in something. And I probably would have said it to Dave, but I'm going to say it's your dad.
That was Danny.
Danny said it. Do you know who he said it to?
That was to Kimmy.
Whoa. So he was putting Kimmy down, something you can't do today. Oh, I did do it on Fuller House.
Yeah.
If Fullest House comes out, I will not be able to.
Yeah. We have, I don't know what I'm doing, but I try my best.
Oh, God, that sounds so much like me. I'm going to say I said it. Danny Tanner.
That was my dad.
Well, I have something in common with your dad.
Yeah, lucky you. 2 peas in a pod. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I can't thank you enough. It was such an awesome time.
I wish everyone success from Emerson, and you're you guys, Candace, you're the future. You know, honestly, you really are the shot at something wonderful, and we need you. The world needs great output, whether it puts social things in people's faces, whether it tells a story, if you have a story to tell. But I wish everybody all the best, and I hope to see you all out there, and you'll say, you know, you gave it a Zoom, and you never let Candace talk.
It's all right. This is the whole point of it, is to hear you talk. So this is.
That's what they said. I said, what if I talk too much? And they said, no, Candace will be cool.
perfect. I'm trying to be cool.
You are cool.
Thank you so much, Bob. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. I want to also thank our other amazing guests, Leslie Jones and Reggie Watts.
Yeah.
And also, one more time for the great Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone at Emerson. Thank you to everyone at ComEx. Really appreciate everything, and have an amazing summer. Good night, everyone.
ComEx Tonight is a production of Emerson College.
Okay, this is done. You did good. Don't give me attitude. What are you talking about? They loved you. Every single time. Oh, I like your plan. I like your plan. They talked about you more than they talked about me. I will take you back to Lowe's right now.